Hey everybody, welcome. It's Andrew Ainsworth Golf Academy. Thanks for tuning in and watching the video today. Well, it's long time no see, long time since I made a video. As always, I like to tell you why there's been such a delay. Golf's still enjoying this amazing boom in the UK, so my lesson diary and fitting diary has just been absolutely flat out. And as my regular viewers know, I really only do YouTube when I get a little bit quieter. So I've got an afternoon here where I've got a couple of hours to spare, and I thought I'd better catch up on some YouTube videos. So that's where I'm at. And what I want to talk to you about today is the new Mizuno 921 range, and I want to do a little head-to-head comparison. A few people have been asking if I could do this one, so I've certainly thought, let's do it. What I'm doing, we'll flash some pictures up as we do it, is we're going to compare the JPX921 Forged with the 921 Hot Metal Pro. And a question I get asked a lot when I'm doing fittings is, what's the difference between these two clubs? Well, the obvious one is in the name. We've got a forged club and we've got a non-forged club. So that's number one. If you're slightly interested or not, you might want, if you are interested, you might want to stay listening for about another 3 or 4 minutes, and I'll just tell you about the differences between these two clubs. If you want to jump to the hitting and the numbers, then just advance the video on about 3 or 4 minutes. But for those of you who are interested in the spec and the tech, let's tell you a little bit about each club. So let's start with the forged iron. A couple of bullet points. It's the first full forged chromoly club that they've made. So they've blended the chromoly and the forged to give it this first full body. First time they've done it, they were very excited about it. The forged club is made of grain forged HD material, which is absolutely high spec forging, done at their plant out in Japan. And they're saying it's the fastest ball speeds they've ever created from a fully forged iron. Let's nip over onto the Pro. There's little bullet points on the Pro is the compact head size. It is made of chromoly. It has all the plain attributes of the hot metal. It's really just a slimmed down version with a more compact head. They have made the face quite a lot thinner on this, and again, the idea of the thinner face is to promote higher ball speeds. So higher ball speeds, the kind of theme running through this range. Let's tell you a little bit of a comparison between various features between the forged and the Pro. So head length on the forged is 79.9 millimeters. We'll put the info up there as we talk about it. So forged head length 79.9 millimeters, and on the Pro we've got a head length of 81 millimeters. So not a great deal in that, is there? 1.1 millimeter. Going on to the sole width, on the forged we have a sole width of 20.2 millimeters, and on the Pro 22 millimeters. So again, minimal, but a little bit of a difference. The top line, looking down from above, this is often things which people are drawn to, how thick or thin the top line is. On the forged, you've got a top line width of 6.4 millimeters, and on the Pro, 7.4 millimeters. To the all-important loft. The loft on the forged, this is on a 7 iron, is 31 degrees of loft, and the loft on the Pro, 2 degrees stronger at 29 degrees of loft. So sort of half a club stronger. We'll see if that change in loft equates to much distance difference. Price-wise, we're never afraid to talk about price on this channel. Always amazes me how many people don't mention prices, almost like it's a taboo subject. So why not? You know, one of the things we're interested in when we're considering a set of irons. These are what you'll find are common price in the UK at the moment. I'm not underselling anybody. If you go on and do a Google search, these are the prices you'll find on places like American Golf, Online Golf, wherever you might buy your clubs from. So in the forged, a 7 iron set, generally 40 pitching wedge, you're looking at £999, pound change from £1,000. And in the Pros, we're £100 cheaper at £899. So we know the price of golf equipment has gone up, kind of started creeping up a couple of years ago. So £1,000 for a set of golf clubs is a lot of money, isn't it? But I suppose the way I sort of try and sell that idea to my customers sometimes is you're probably going to keep these irons for 7 to maybe 10 years for some people. Some people will be changing faster, but let's say you keep them for 10 years. It's £100 a year. And if you're playing golf once a week, 50 times, you know, £2 a round. You could break it down that. You could justify the cost if you do it that way. It's probably my sneaky selling tactic, isn't it? But anyway, it is a lot of money, but they do tend to last, and you wouldn't need to change these too often. Should we jump into the hitting area, tell you about the spec we're going to hit shaft-wise, and hit a few balls and see how they perform? Let's go. Okay, everybody, we're in the hitting area. I've been warming up. I always need a little warm-up before I try and do some head-to-head. So I've been hitting a couple of dozen balls. I just hit this one in practice with the Hot Metal Pro. Just watch this. 7-iron in my hand here. Felt great off the club face. Watch what happens next. Pitched in the hole and then spun out. How unlucky is that? Anyway, that was in testing. Let's see what happens as we get into some real shots. So, here we go. 29-degree Hot Metal Pro. Shaft-wise, I'm going to swap these shafts over once I've hit a few. I've decided to go with the NS Pro modus. I'm going with the 120 gram in a stiff. And let me just remind myself what that is. It's a low to mid launching shaft. So I had to just go and have a look on my chart there. So it's low to mid. Quite a nice shaft. I really like it. Let's hit a few. My swing's probably not going to be in shot here. People say, why don't you get all of your swing in shot? The way I have to position my camera in the corner to get a view of the screen doesn't allow you to see my whole swing. So I've probably spared you the agony of watching my golf swing, which isn't the prettiest golf swing in the world, but it sometimes works. Let's hit a couple. Oh, that was great. That felt pretty glorious off the club face. I think it was probably a little bit bottomy. We've got HMT running here. We'll dive in there and have a look at the numbers as they come up. Let's have a little peeky at that one. Oh, I don't think it was as bad as that. Maybe it was. It's saying I hit that way off the toe. I might have said this to you before on HMT. It divides the club up into little quadrants, sort of low heel, low toe. The actual real strike is probably about there. I'm not trying to make myself look better than I am, but I know it wasn't quite that far off the toe. What would we get as a little snapshot? We got 84 miles an hour club speed. Average for me. I could swing it a bit quicker if I need to. My usual low launch, 7-degree attack angle down. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Spinning at 5.7 and a carry distance of 156. And remember, the loft on this is 29 degrees. Let's get a couple more of these away, and then we can do a little switch over and see if we feel much difference between these two. Oh, that's going left. I wake up in the night sometimes with cold sweats thinking about that shot. I hate it so much. Anyway, I'm going to be strong and let that one go. Better. That's okay. I can deal with that one. That was a better strike. We'll keep the cameras rolling. Of course we will. We always do. We'll take away that bad pull shot in a minute. I just want to get 3 decent shots of each, and then we can compare the data. So we've got 2 decent ones there. That was a better strike, the last one. That one will test the playability a little bit. That was right nowhere near the middle of the club, but we're going to leave it in there. You see the drop off there as I misstruck that one. Let's just get rid of the big pull. Where's the big pull? That one there. Okay, what I'm going to do, everybody, is I'm going to leave those 3 shots in there. I'm just going to swap the shafts over onto the Forged. We'll hit 3 with that, and we'll see what the numbers look like. Be right back. Done a quick switchy there. Kept the same shaft in, Pro Modus 120, and I've now got the Forged 921 in my hand. Looking down at it from above, I tell you what, you put the 2 down together, you'd be hard pressed to know which one's which. We'll do an overhead shot for you and let you see what you think, but looks just as good. Could I choose between them? Not yet. Let's hit a couple. See, I've got to throw in that little pull shot again. Got to get that one out of the system. Another cold sweat dream coming up on that one. Dream, nightmare. Yeah, probably the nightmare. Do you want to see where that comes from? Just out of curiosity. So here's what happens on that shot. My swing path is from in to out, about 5 degrees. Well, it's not about 5 degrees, it is exactly 4.8. So my swing path traveling 4.8 degrees from inside to out. Now the club face to the path is nearly 3 degrees closed. Okay, so imagine club traveling from inside, club face closing 3 degrees. That's putting a whole heap of side spin on the ball. So the ball actually starts left, more to do with what my club face is doing rather than the path, yeah? So the ball starts left. I've got the spin axis, the spin tilt turning over because the club face is closing, which makes it more to the left, and that has missed target. It's gone 19 yards left. So that's where my nasty shot comes from. And what I try and do when I'm trying to curtail that really is control the club face better. I just feel I get too much release on it, get a little bit handsy. So I'm going to try and hold this one off a little bit. That's better. I'd rather have that as my miss than the previous shot. Now I know that's going to bleed off a little bit of distance, but that's fine by me. Anyway, back to the most important thing, not my golf swing. What's the club feel like? It feels very, very nice. I'm going to ask the big question in a minute, which will provoke it'll provoke reaction. That was pretty decent. That's very decent, actually. That's not far off as good as I can hit it. We'll go one more while we're on a bit of a run. And then we can ask the big question and look at some numbers. Oh, yes. Middle diddle. Not bad. All I had to do was talk about holding the club face off. We're going to look at some numbers in a minute. Here's the big one. Can I feel the difference between a forged club and a club made out of chromoly? Absolutely no. Cannot feel the difference. That to me feels exactly the same. Doesn't feel softer. They both feel the same. They both feel great. So this is where I had the big debate with myself and lots of other people on the world of the internet. What are the advantages of a forged club? I'm not going to, well, go on, you post comments down below. What do you think the advantage of a forged club is over a non-forged club? Can you feel the difference between them? If you can, good for you. You're always going to pay more for a forged club than you are for a non-forged because of the process. Me personally, doesn't make a jot of difference. But there you go. Who am I to compare things? I'm not a tour pro. I'm just a guy who makes a living teaching and fitting golf clubs, which I love, by the way. But maybe go and ask somebody far better than me that question. Let's have a look at some numbers. Tell you what, let me bring the camera in a little bit closer so you can see these numbers with me. Hello again. Right, numbers time. 3 shots of each. I think they were fairly comparative, some of those strikes. Let's have a look at club speed. Well, let's look at ball speed, actually. Interestingly enough, ball speeds are almost identical. 112.5 with the JPX Pro and 112.9 with the Forged. Nothing in it. And club speeds, as you'd expect, 85.3, 85.7. Nothing in it. Launch angle varies a little bit. That's me more straight than anything else. Backspin rates. 5675 with the Pro and a 5991. Now we'd expect a slightly higher backspin rate with the Forge because it's 2 degrees weaker, 31 degrees against 29. So that makes sense. Peak height, slightly higher, again with the Forge, 2 yards higher. Descent angle, yeah, a little bit different. But here's the interesting thing. Now, we're going to get variances in yardage, aren't we, because of strike and all the rest of it. But if you look at my best swing strike. That was the second one. I got a 163 carry, and then I got a 156, and that was a bit of a miss at 149. So average 156. And then with the forged, I went 152, 159, 157. So the average on those 3 shots, and it is just a snapshot, was exactly the same. When I butted, that was a good strike, and that was a good strike, and that wasn't bad either. So I guess the Pro, because of its loft change at 2 degrees, makes sense to be slightly longer, but not that much. How would I sum these 2 clubs up? They're both fantastic clubs. Mizuno do not make bad golf clubs. I say that every time I do a Mizuno review. They don't. What are the differences between them? They're quite subtle, actually. I think there's a lot of similarities between these 2 clubs. I personally can't feel the difference between the Forged and the chromoly. They both feel the same to me. There's a £100 price difference. Is that Forged better than £100 better than the Pro? Don't know. I'll leave that one out for debate. But this is where it all comes back to fitting. Go to your fitting centre, hit both the clubs. You might see, like I did there, that the performance is very similar, and I might just go on one because they're £100 cheaper, or I like the look of one better than the other, or I'm sold on this idea of buying into a Forged club. It doesn't matter what your reasons are, as long as you're happy with the reasons and the club's performing and the fitter's got you the right shaft, the right length, the right lie angle, the right grip size, the right combination of clubs and wedges, then he's done a good job, or she's done a good job, and the rest is really down to you. So there we go. That's my little take on the JPX921 Forged against the 921 Pro. Hope you enjoyed the video. Post comments down below. I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments coming back about the Forged issue. I look forward to listening to those, and if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe, and see you all soon. Bye for now.